Most people live their lives as if they're characters in a movie that they didn't write or direct, and they are subject to whatever the plot is of that movie. And there are some people who are aware of this. They know that they can be the author, they know that they can be the director, and they know that they can be the star of the show, yet despite this, nothing changes. And this is because both of those groups, both of those people, are lost as the character they are playing. Whenever a seeming negative thought pops up, they are a victim to it. Whenever heavy emotions arise, they are subject to whatever emotions those are. And whenever events happen in the world, whether that's in their personal life or on a global scale, their internal experience is dependent on whatever happens in the external world. When you're lost as the character, you get lost in the world, and your ability to have authorship over your own life, your ability to be sovereign, gets put on the back burner because you're busy dealing with thoughts and emotions or the events of the world. But when you can take a step back, when you can notice the awareness that you are, when you can see and experience that you are the awareness behind the character, whenever thoughts or emotions pop up, or whenever events happen in the physical world, you can simply observe them. They no longer have any bearing over your internal experience. So taking a step back and being the observer of your reality is the first step to conscious creation. It's the first step to conscious sovereignty. And all conscious sovereignty really is being able to choose or deciding to choose your internal experience regardless of external conditions. And external conditions in this context isn't only the things happening out in the world. It's not only what other people are doing or what's happening in other places. In this context, the external world includes your thoughts and emotions. Because when it comes to spirituality and manifestation in general, people think all they need to do is go from being controlled by their thoughts and emotions to controlling their thoughts and emotions. But the thing is when you feel the need to control something, or when you feel you need to control something, the thing still has power over you. If you're having seeming negative thoughts, and at one time they were controlling you, but now you feel you need to control them, those thoughts still have power over you. And this applies to emotions, and it applies to the events that happen in the physical world. Now, this doesn't mean that thoughts or emotions, or especially events in the physical world, mean that they're not real, mean that they don't have impact. What this means is that despite those things, you get to choose your internal experience. And in the most basic form, that's what conscious creation or manifestation is. It is deciding what you want to experience here and now and letting that show up in the physical world. You're basically experiencing your desires on two planes of existence, the spiritual plane and the physical plane. But it doesn't start out there. It starts within. It starts with what you truly are, not as the character, but as the awareness behind it. And when you try to write or direct from the script of the character, you're going to place a ton of conditions on your desires and on what you want to experience in this life. And the outcome is going to be a play that you didn't actually want to write. And that's why the second group I mentioned earlier still doesn't have the capacity to give life to their dreams. Because when you try to manifest from the character, like I said, you're going to put conditions on your desires. So rather than writing a movie or a play about the level of health and wealth and love that you want, you're going to judge your desires based on your past and what you imagine about the future and what you imagine about the world. So instead of the level of wealth that you actually want, you're going to dial it back a bit to something more realistic. Instead of the level of health you want, you're going to dial it back to something more realistic, and this applies to love as well. But when you take a step back and you can observe your thoughts and emotions, observe the world as simply as an observation without labeling, now your internal experience is no longer tied to external conditions. You have a blank slate. From that blank slate, you can choose anything you want to experience, regardless of conditions. And a really simple way to look at this is if you imagine biting into a lemon, your mouth is going to water. If you imagine hugging a loved one, you're going to experience something in this moment. Or if you imagine that you're in your favorite country, you're going to be experiencing something different. And all of those experiences arise within you regardless of the physical external conditions. Because the truth about these characters we play is that they are simply the lens. The divinity that you are is the light, and this physical world of space and time is the screen. But unless you focus your lens on what you want, you're going to be seeing projections of things you don't want. You're going to be seeing projections of what other people have projected, and you're going to take some of that on. But you can choose your own experience despite whatever's going on in the collective. When you claim sovereignty over your internal reality, you can project anything you choose, regardless of how many people are projecting something else, or regardless of the seeming conditions. When you get lost as the character, you get lost in the thing that is refracting the light that you are. And when you get lost in the character, you get lost in the projected image, when what you truly are is what is projecting that image. So to move from the helpless character, take a step back, observe the external conditions without meaning, and from there, you can begin to project or begin to change your internal experience to what it is that you truly desire. Now, if you feel like you've been lost in the character for too long, or you can't quite make that step back to simply observe your thoughts and emotions, click the link down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.